He slid the papers across the kitchen counter as though they were some kind of gift, expecting gratitude. "I won't chain myself to a useless, lazy woman," he said, word for word, without a flicker of hesitation. I didn't move, didn't speak, just stared at him, unblinking. Behind me, the kettle screamed with a sharp hiss, but I was quieter, colder. He thought he'd won. He couldn't have been more wrong. Back then, I loved him the way a fool clings to fire, knowing it burns but unable to let go. We met on a rainy Tuesday in October. My umbrella turned inside out, and he draped his jacket over my shoulders like something straight from a worn-out romantic comedy. Charming, patient, too patient. Even then, it felt as if he were studying me, cataloging me, waiting. 2 years later, we stood in a courthouse beneath plastic flowers. I wore my mother's pearls, looped twice around my neck. He looked at me like I was his world. He used to say, "You're my home." The words stopped the moment I lost my job. One layoff. Pause in my income. That's all it took. The sneers started slowly. First in private, then openly, even in front of others. When I tried to talk, his eyes dropped to his phone. When I cried, he yawned. I excused it as stress, pressure, exhaustion. The truth. He was already gone. The first crack showed up in the laundry. A receipt stuffed into the pocket of his jeans. Dinner for 2, a hotel suite, and a bottle of Pinot Noir. He never drank red wine. It gave him migraines. I didn't confront him. I simply memorized the room number. Then came the perfume. Vanilla laced with lilac. Not mine. I hadn't worn fragrance in years. And finally the last blow. Marissa, my best friend. She began styling her hair the way I once had, wearing the same dress I'd passed on to her for fun. She even posted a photo of herself in it. His reflection in the window just behind her. Careless, floppy. They thought they were clever. They had no idea. That night I stopped crying and started plotting. What he never realized, what neither of them knew, was that after I lost my job I didn't sit idle. I built something. Quiet consulting work online. One client turned into many. Some stayed long-term. I reinvested every dollar, every cent slowly, methodically. My accounts grew. 3 of them, all in my name. By the time he was sneering over my supposed uselessness, I had already earned over $450,000. I played the part of the broken wife with precision. I accepted his insults as if they were folded napkins. I cried only behind closed doors. I smiled at Marissa over brunch and asked about her life, as though I didn't know the truth. I waited for the perfect moment. And then he gave it to me. The divorce. He assumed I would beg, cling, crumble. Instead, I signed the papers that same afternoon. Calm, emotionless. Just one condition. No spousal support, but I would keep the house. He grinned like a man walking away with a prize. He never questioned it. 3 months later, he married her. I didn't attend, but I sent them a gift. A plain white card typed in 12-point font. No name. Just one sentence. Check the basement. He had never once looked twice at that dusty corner. Never noticed the locked cabinet. Never asked. Inside was everything. Every tax return, every contract, proof of earnings, and a notarized statement from a lawyer confirming that the house had been purchased in my name with my money 2 weeks before he filed. He thought it was his. Thought I had nothing. But when he read that card, I know curiosity got the better of him. He opened that cabinet. He had to. The last time I saw them was by accident. Coffee shop on Main Street. They were already seated when I walked in. She looked thinner, uneasy. He looked older, hollow. He noticed me immediately. Her eyes locked. I didn't smile. He stood, approached slowly, confusion written across his face. A storm gathered in his eyes. "You knew the whole time," he said. I lifted my cup, took a sip, and answered simply, "Of course. And the money." I tilted my head and let the silence stretch. Then I leaned closer and whispered, "You divorced a millionaire, Tom, for a woman who clips expired coupons and lies about it." Marissa's face drained of color. Tom's mouth opened, then closed, no words coming out. Just silence. Beautiful, perfect silence. I stood and walked out. The sunlight spilled across me as I stepped into the street. Warm, weightless. He believed he had left me in ruins. But while he was busy tearing me down, I was rebuilding, brick by quiet brick. And now, he will spend the rest of his life wondering how he missed it. How he underestimated me. That's the truth about quiet women. We're not broken. We're just reloading.